Thank you very much. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Darius and Dennis, who are here from Wheeler. And hopefully Helen will be joining us, but we'll make a start anyway. Have you had any apologies, Ian?
No, from no councillors, but I have had an apology from Eddie Hall.
Right. Is there apology for
Can
Phil?
I say apologies for Phil Keaton? He's still driving back from Pembroke.
Oh dear. Right. Okay. So yeah, can you note that as well? I did wonder whether he'd make it back. Okay. Has anyone got any declarations of interest?
As always, I will declare a personal interest only, being both a city councillor and a community councillor.
Okay.
Yes, I'm the same, Carrie.
And Chris. So that's Chris, Sarah, and Rebecca. Thanks very much. Okay, right. Well, what I've suggested, if we could agree, some slight movement in the agenda. And I'm suggesting that item 11, the bike repair facility, which is what Darius and Dennis have come to talk about, is moved up to next on the agenda. And then also that the landfill tax application and Castlewoods paths are moved up to before the final arrangements for next year's budget. So are we happy with that? Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much. Okay, well, what I'll do, just a bit of background. John Sace from Wheelwrights approached me saying that they had been looking at the possibility of a bike repair facility of some sort to be put in Mumbles, which seems, you know, a very sensible idea, and that's why we thought it would be useful for someone from Wheelwrights, and we obviously have two representatives here, to come and talk about their idea and some ideas about location and how it would work. So if I could hand over to you, whichever of you wants to speak first.
If I can just give you a very short story of how this idea came about, and it's John Sace's idea. Unfortunately, he's off on his way to Cardiff. He would have, I'm sure, explained it much better. And it came about on Sunday, the 2nd of November, when we organised our first mass critical parade, which was well attended by over 30 people, quite a few children. And we hope to do that on a monthly basis going forward. And on that day, we offered the bike workshop. So if anybody had problems with the bike, and there's a young bike mechanic, Jai here, who I was hoping might be here tonight, but we didn't receive an invitation, so I didn't tell him. But he's very enthusiastic. He runs a bike repair activity at the Environment Centre. And when we were sitting down for a coffee after the ride, celebrating our great achievement, John Sace came with the idea of, would there be a call for a bike repair facility in Mumbles? And I moved to Swansea back in 1985. I lived in Mumbles for a year and a half, so I call myself a Mumbles resident. I now live in the Mayos, but we still go to Mumbles on our bikes quite often, my wife and I think we definitely would be need call for a bike repair, which I imagine will expand into a larger activity in the fullness of time, possibly with higher sale maybe, or, you know, generally looking after the biking community. So I'm very excited by the idea how it will come about. John Sace was talking about maybe starting with a container place somewhere near the tennis courts. But
the old tennis courts, that is not the Langland one.
When it comes to the facts and nitty-gritty, people like Dennis, I mean, I defer to Dennis on this, and I'm sure he can tell you something more.
Okay, you might remember, you go back into your memory, there used to be a bike higher place in Mumble to the container.
Oh,
There's not a huge demand for it. But certainly it fits in well with your repair scheme.
the Repair Cafe, which drives is our
Oh,
representative at.
that's how you know it.
Yes,
Right.
so he comes to do any bike repairs.
Great force of nature, and as regards wheelwrights, of course, he brings the age profile down quite considerably, and he's a, very enthusiastic young man. He's probably cycle trained. He's more than enthusiastic, and he's away this week, but he definitely has to come to any further meetings about this. So it's just an exploratory introduction that we've got today. Obviously, well, this thing has only occurred to John after the consultation on the tennis courts, but it may be quite a good idea. Certainly, we do it at Ripples, funded by, I think I mentioned last time, the landfill tax goes to the Welsh Government, which then goes to the community councils.
WCVA.
Yes, and then to the environment centre, and then that's
Yes.
been every, 5 or 6 times at Ripples, outside Ripples, rather than on the council ground. Well, the council give permission for that. But it's slightly out of the way. I mean, certainly in the middle of Bumbles would be much more impactful. So we're just starting to explore ideas and possible funding for that. I mean, you mentioned the landfill tax earlier, so we've already got previous funding for bike repairs, so maybe just once a week. Maybe on the tennis courts, maybe private land, but the dairy car park, or maybe even
Dairy car park is council owned. It's Oyster Mouse.
the dairy. Oh, that's right, yes.
It's
But
the
maybe
private
on the dairy car park, it would take up one space. Maybe just a pergola, or what do you call those things?
A gazebo.
Gazebo. But the environment does have such stuff anyway. Maybe we can start off, I'm just thinking aloud now, so excuse my blabbering on. Maybe we can incorporate it as part of the market for a start.
Yeah,
Store.
yeah.
That's just exploring. So, any ideas anybody else has got, or any thoughts? We more than likely like listening to them. Sarah and Paul as well. So, okay.
Okay, Rebecca.
So I totally support it as an idea. My question would be, what are you hoping the role of the community council will be? Is there a money implication? So what magnitude of
Yes.
are we talking about?
Well, maybe you can help us with funding applications by helping us fill them out for start.
Okay, so, yeah. I mean, I know when I spoke with John, one of the places which seemed a good suggestion to me was, now we have the university bike scheme hub just alongside Oystermouth, whatever it's called, Piazza.
Tom
Yeah.
Towers.
Anyway, yeah, it's now been moved and it is just there.
Yes.
And of course, fortuitously, that's opposite our bike shelter.
Yes.
So the two of them are there. And I suppose the logic would be that we would look at perhaps putting a container
Yes.
or something next to the
Yes.
bike shelter. So then, everything would be kind of in the same place, and it would be a kind of natural place for people to go to, if they want a bike, if they want a bike repaired, if they want to put their bike somewhere safe, all of that would be in the same place. So that's a possibility.
When you say container, are you talking about a shipping container?
I'm assuming so, because they're safe in terms of being
Quite
broken
large.
into. They come in very many different sizes. When we looked at the one for Norton Nature Reserve, they start at about 6 foot square.
Mini ones, yes.
Yeah.
If you use them at Bikeability, if you've been to Bikeability,
Yes, they've got the larger ones there, of course.
Yeah.
those are big
Yeah,
ones.
because we have one at Norton Nature Reserve, which is about 2 meters, I would think, maybe 3 meters, maybe. But yeah, I know when we were looking, we looked at various sizes.
Just last time, so we approached Bikeability on this.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Just would be focused. It's very, very exploratory.
Yeah, so I mean, I suppose our input could be maybe finding some way of helping towards funding a container. You know, if you're looking at grant funding, you know, we might be able to kind of offer a small kind of top up, and the best route probably, rather than us putting it in the budget where it would then probably get knocked out, that you apply through our grant scheme, because that then would enable you to you know, to have it going through a different route, and I would suggest possibly one where you might have more success in getting that approved.
Just to say, the grant scheme application forms are online.
They are online. You go to the Mumbles Community Council website, and you will. Paul will tell me quite how where you find them.
We'll find them.
Yeah, if you go to council, then finance. One of the options then is grant application, and there's another one then for guidance.
Yeah, so it's worth reading the guidance first, because that's quite important to make sure that, you know, you comply with what we're asking for. But I mean, I certainly would be more than happy to support it. And I think certainly, you know, if we could have a regular, you know, bike repair session, monthly or whatever, then I think that would be fantastic. Whether we want to link it in with the market, or have it on a separate day, or link it in with the repair cafe, you know, there's various options. Has anybody got any thoughts, Sarah?
It might be interesting to ask Exist to work, because they do stuff repairing skateboards and other wheeled things.
Oh, yeah.
And if you did it by the skate park once or twice, it would get a lot of interest. And children do ride bikes as well.
And it might be something perhaps we could kind of
BMX bikes.
a combined sort of, you know, tools stored there to repair scooters and skateboards as well as for bikes. I think that's
and
a really
they've been
good
doing it for some time, so they will have a lot of advice for what's needed, I would imagine.
Definitely, they're definitely worth talking to. Do you know the Exist?
No.
They're the indoor skate centre in Mount Pleasant.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And they, yes, I'm sure they would be, you know, really helpful. I mean, they're very good at, they do a lot of grant raising, fundraising.
And that fits in with what was Sustrans, which is now called
Oh, well, what
Walk
wheel
wheel cycle, I think.
Walk wheel scoot or?
Yes, the wheel thing. So I certainly think that's
Yeah,
certainly, Sarah, I think that's a huge
yeah,
way forward, rather than just looking at bicycles.
yeah. And again, we could call it wheeled sports repair.
Yes, good.
Because, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are lots of skateboards that
brings a lot more.
would be much better repaired than being thrown away and a new one being bought. So I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Any thoughts, Chris? Oh, Rebecca.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It kind of lend itself well to the market, but it needs to be kind of advertised as being there, because otherwise the people would turn into the market and go, "Oh, there's a bike thing."
Yeah, people market goers probably not expecting it to be there. So maybe that's not an option. But I think a better option might be actually on the front itself.
Yeah, yeah. Just because there is like a bike kind of hub there anyway. And as Sarah said, and then actually have sessions running up alongside the skate park on a regular basis as well. So I think that would work really well. Rebecca?
I'm just conscious that quite a lot of different ways of making this happen have been discussed.
Yes.
Which is great, actually, because you said we're at the sort of very early stages of this, aren't we? And were you to put a grant application in, I'm sure none of us would want to be predetermined on the outcome of that application. So we are talking about it in theoretical terms at the moment. But also, there's quite a lot of permissions that would be required to front. Not least, we've got no Mumble City Councillor on this committee. Certainly, I've always valued that you gave the West Cross councillors some things around Red Bulls at an early stage, so I would recommend that is something that is done at an early stage. So yeah, I think what we can probably say from this evening's discussion is very much support direction of travel.
Yes.
Okay.
But at this stage, I personally, for example, am not an avid cyclist, so I don't know where the best place for hub is. So if you can come back to us and say, we've spoken to our community of cyclists and they've said this would be best, or the market would be best, or the skate park.
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
Yes, thank you.
Do you think? Oh, Sarah. Sorry, before we finish, Sarah. Yes.
Yeah, the other idea that might work, it might be a bit late this time, but the repair cafe, if you advertised it that it would be bikes and skateboards and have people there, it might be a good jumping off thing to find out how many people might be interested.
I think we have got it on the poster.
Oh, good.
Has it got bikes on? Oh, this is all, I'm sure it is all in Welsh. Bike.
Take you up.
Flex watches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because Jai, who Dennis mentioned, he will be there. And although we advertised it last time, nobody actually brought a bike in, but he was able to do a double puncture on a wheelchair.
Well, there we go. You see, it's all wheels, isn't it? You need to
That's
put
it.
that if it's
Yeah.
all wheels.
Yeah,
There we
so definitely, I mean, we could certainly, I mean, the repair cafe is coming up later in on our agenda, but you know, it's certainly something we could certainly link in with the repair cafe for future events and things, and because Jai is involved in that anyway, so it's a natural connection.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and yes.
Well, we take the positive message back.
Yeah.
We do have someone who's good at grant writing. In fact, we've just submitted our very first grant application for St. David's Day. There's a special fund and we're organizing it. So we're hoping to, but we will follow up on to see what.
Definitely worth contacting Exist. I think that they would be really keen, I think, to link in, because yeah, you know, having a repair facility for scooters and skateboards as well, I think would really go down well.
So we definitely.
Great.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Right, well, what is it going to be next month, Dennis?
I know. What to go off to you onto the coast.
Exciting.
Thank you all. Cheers to everybody.
Right, thanks ever so much for
Cheers.
coming.
Great.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think that's it's got wheels. Yeah, so yeah, I think it's definitely something, and then if we can support in any way any permissions needed from Swansea Council, I'm sure that would all help. So brilliant, thanks ever so much for that. Right, so minutes of the previous meeting. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at them? I don't think there was anything. Right, I think everything is is fine. Anybody got any comments, anything they've noticed, any? I mean, there was an action to amend the typo from the previous one, but I don't think there was anything else that, no, I think there was something in this,
I've probably got a slight amendment on the public participation.
right?
Sorry not to bring it up sooner, but.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I've got something, I think, further down as well.
So Ian, the first paragraph of page 2, it says, sorry, I just had it, now it's gone. It's the second paragraph, that's why. It says such participation with the public is to be extended. I believe I did mention that we're looking to, I think what I was referring to there is actually the cleansing ward operative team. We're looking to extend capacity.
See that on my laptop, so I'll have a look on that.
If I just say for the recording that what I was referring to was that as city councillors, we're looking to extend the capacity of the council operatives that undertake weeding in the ward. And then perhaps you and I can just write that in.
Okay.
Is that right?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Lovely. All right, no, it is, I think it was something that I'd already picked up. Right, I think it was, let me just, sorry, I need to look at, it was something to do with the budget, something that needed to be included. Application for the orchard. I can't find it now. But I know that when we were looking at the combining the.
I have altered that though, Chair.
You've already corrected it. That's why I can't find it. That's from when we went through it. Brilliant.
So what I'll do, I'll email you the minutes then, Rebecca, and then send it. I'll do it on Word, so you can just alter it. It's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we all agreed on the minutes subject to the clarification that Rebecca's outlined? Lovely, thank you very much. Right, Ash is now here, so any actions that are relevant to him, we can, he's looking very Viking.
I don't feel very Viking today.
Okay, so if we can, Ian, if you
Right,
could
so I
take
run
us
through
through
them.
the actions,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Circulated the list, updated the list. The first one is number 31, which relates to the picnic benches, wood carvings. They've all been put into one action, really. And the last that had happened was that Diane had emailed yourself and had emailed with a list of requirements, I think, for councillors wanting their benches. Further update on that?
What we are still waiting on is Swansea Council to agree a deal for them to take them from where they currently are and put them where we want them to be.
Okay.
And that seems to be a sticking point that about a year, 3 years. So I don't know, has anybody got any ideas how we can progress this? Because they are all still in various parts of Southend Gardens. I think there were 13 in the section by the playground, and there are 3 in the section by the Petombe piece. Now, obviously, I think 1 or 2 are scheduled to stay there, but the rest people are waiting to have them redistributed around the wards.
So I've just found the email with the list. There was an action in that, and I wonder whether perhaps the sticking point is that Diane didn't get a response.
Ah, right.
So the email went from yourself, Carrie, to all councillors
Yeah,
with the list and the request to confirm that this is still correct, because it's almost 2 years since you originally made these requests.
yes.
And if you want them on land that does not come under MCC ownership, can you confirm you have the landowner's permission?
Right.
You asked for confirmation by the 3rd of October. That was so that we could have removal quotes to be agreed at the October committee. So I imagine those quotes haven't even been sought.
No, because we're
not confirmed. So the challenge we have is getting at least one councillor from each ward.
right. Well, I'm happy to take, I mean, of our 5, we have already allocated 2. One up on Mumbles Hill and one in Norton Nature Reserve. We are planning to put another one in the orchard, so that will not require permission because we have management responsibility for the orchard already. And as far as I remember, I think the other 2 were requested to be up at the castle. So that,
It doesn't say any spares castle.
yeah, so that possibly is where, in terms of Oystermouth, we need to get that confirmed. So I'm happy to take that on.
Well, just looking at it now, all of these requests are Parks' responsibility. You know, that aren't,
So yes, so they should all
with
be.
the exception of Newton Village Hall.
Hmm.
So that really should just be one email, shouldn't it?
Okay.
Parks are going to
So
get.
if you could resend that back to me.
Okay.
And we'll just assume, as nobody's come back with any changes, that everyone's happy with where they had originally requested them.
Oddly enough, I had an email today from Hannah. I was copied in, it was Pam, and she'd been contacted by a lady wanting, and apparently it's a long-standing arrangement where she was going to have a bench, and I think it related to.
Different benches,
Is that
Is it-
is it the bus stop on Big Mumbles?
yes.
Oh, is that the one? In
Yeah.
relation to the Red British Legion, is that the one? I think this is to do with
Oh.
or some memorial of some kind, yeah. There might well be a different one because there's so many different benches, isn't there?
Yeah, because these are specifically picnic tables.
Okay.
And Pam, and I did chase her up today, so maybe that's what reminded her. She has requested a bench rather than a picnic table to be put somewhere in that section in front of the fairy shop.
All right.
So that people waiting for a bus have somewhere they can sit. And I did go back to her and ask her, had she progressed that any further in terms of whose permission we need and what the costs are? Because we have money in civic amenities for it, but we do need a bit more detail. So perhaps she's asked Hannah to see if she can progress that for her.
Okay, thanks.
So yes, that is a bench rather than a picnic table. We should try and remember to call these picnic tables. But yes, so I'm happy to contact Parks.
The other question I would have for Parks, apart from permission, is where they advise that these need to go on concrete hard standing.
Right, yes.
And where they're happy for them to just be put, you know, so like
Yes.
one of the options, for example, is Klein Gardens Touring Tea Van. I believe the other benches in that area are just put.
They are.
Whereas in Yalton Park, for example, there's already concrete hard standing for one bench.
Right,
So would they recommend? And if so, can they cost for that?
right, yeah, so that would need to be included in, yeah, okay. I mean, obviously the orchard, we don't need hard standing for that. Although we have got it on a hard standing in Norton Nature, I don't think we don't need to, well, we probably don't want it on hard standing, do we actually?
Not for the nature reserve, probably.
For the
Well,
orchard,
Oh, for the orchard, I wouldn't have thought so. It would have been, it's a lot of work for nothing, probably.
Yeah,
But
and Wood Fosters.
the one for the orchard, I'm happy to go down and take a look. And if it's easily dismantleable, I can put it in the back of my van and just, reassemble
Yeah,
it. back in the
unfortunately,
nature
I
reserve.
seem to remember from our attempts to move the last one, well, we did succeed, they don't come apart.
Oh, okay.
I think they have to be moved as they are, which is why it's got the problem with it, because it's the difficulty. It needs a flatbed truck
Hmm.
to load them onto, and they're also unbelievably heavy. We haven't quite got our heads around how we're going to get it from wherever the lorry can unload it into the orchard, but we managed to get one up Mumbles Hill, so I'm sure we can manage it. Okay, so if you could forward that, so that's the action, Ian, that I will contact Parks regarding permission for locations and to confirm whether they would require concrete hard standing for them. Because I think the ones in Castle Acre, they did want, I think those are on hard standings, aren't they? Yeah, well, the ones we had put in. Okay, right, so let's see if we can finally get this sorted.
The next one is number 92 regarding the plant swap shop, and that was deferred till today, and that's Sarah's.
Sarah, yeah. Is this something we want to progress for next spring-ish?
Sorry, Carrie, I missed what
The
you saying.
plant swap shop events for next spring.
Yeah, no, probably not. That's fine. That's fine.
So we're just going to close that then, shall we? Are people, or do people
I'll
want
do it,
to?
Carrie. I can do it myself, like I have been informally from the Warm Hub. I don't need to do it through MCC. It's fine. That's
Okay. I mean, I don't know whether Ash has any thoughts about doing something at Norton Nature Reserve.
Well, I haven't put any thought into that yet, but if Sarah wants to have a chat with me, we can maybe because we've got the greenhouse set up now.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to work with Sarah and see what we can do with that if you want. I'm basically I'm willing to help and sort of like come along with it because it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think it would be a nice idea because and basically there's no cost, is there? Because it's just asking people to bring their spare seedlings along and to take others away. So, I mean, I think it's something we probably still should look at, but yeah, so if the action is for Sarah and Ash to have a chat about it and then see, I mean, I don't know, is May or sort of May time, about May time probably the best for that, Sarah?
I must admit, Carrie, last year I was full fuss and I had loads of cuttings and I didn't have room for them in the greenhouse, all of them. So they were all over the house. I've given those away, but this year I haven't done any cuttings. This autumn has been terrible. So I will start again in spring, but then it'll be sort of summer.
Yeah. So we'd be looking sort of May, June time, maybe.
Yeah.
And I mean, we might be able to sort of incorporate some of the edible ones into the crop collective as well. You know, for people bringing seedlings and I mean, I know on the allotment
these
regularly
are
have
all biodiversity ones.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Rebecca.
Can I just suggest that we close the action though? Because I think what we're hearing is that Sarah and Ash will work together on something that's feasible. It's not going to cost any money, so we don't need to agree anything from a committee perspective. We'd love for it to happen. You've got that message loud and clear, but I don't know that we need to go through the minutiae of organising it through committee.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Close that then.
The next one, 101, has been deferred to April. Next year.
That's the grass verge planting,
Number 107 relates to the hedging along Mumblescape Park, and again, this is Ash and Paul's really.
We have one quote which I was somewhat taken aback by. because it was over £17,000.
It did include the,
Is that
the
the
fence,
installation
Gary?
charge though, Chair, as well.
Sorry,
Was
Paul?
that the fence?
It did include an installation charge, so that company would
Yeah.
have installed it.
Right, yeah. But it's a lot of money, and I mean, as I say, this started off as let's put a hedge, we can get one for free. And because Swansea Council's insistence on a fence, we're now looking at potentially £17,000. Now, we have to make a decision as to what we want to do about that. Do we want to put in a late budget proposal? Sarah?
Yeah, it was after Sam's talked to a gentleman at the Halloween party, and he said that his little one nearly ran into the road while the older one was playing on the skate park and he was distracted and the little one went ahead, which was the nightmare scenario we were all concerned about before we had the skate park built. So it's like 17,000 is a lot, but if it means that a child's safe, if children are safe, and we can say we've done our due safety, because we always thought there would be something along there, because we knew that green part would be, used because the skate park. So I don't know. I think we have to do it.
Selling point to the full council is that obviously it would enable us to hold events there.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
once the fence is there and the hedge is grown up around it,
Yeah.
it's safe
Yeah.
then to be able to hold events.
Well, if
So-
you remember, Carrie, the most expensive thing about the last skate park event we did was paying for the fencing to go up and around. Yeah. Well, that's my feeling on it, because if somebody's brought up a safety issue, then
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what do you think? Rebecca, any thoughts on?
I'm interested to know what Chris thinks.
Yeah, of course, it's in your ward, yeah.
I was just thinking that usually there's 3 quotes, so it might just be that 17,000 is.
We have tried. I mean, we're still waiting, I think, was it Swansea fencing?
I wouldn't name any companies while we're online, while we recorded, Chair, but yeah, we have contacted another company, but there's been no response from them to date. The one we have had is the one that installed the existing fencing or provided existing fencing for Maverick. And we will need to try and get another one as well, to get the 3 quotes, or try to get 3 quotes. I suppose the interesting thing is, would you put this forward as an environmental committee proposal, or should it come under community and social?
Point. I mean, it would certainly be of benefit. I think it's more a community and social. I mean, it only came to us by virtue of the fact that we were talking about the hedge.
Hedging, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Which was, which we would have been involved in planting, but now it's moved on to a fence. Certainly, I think it's more a community and social thing. But what happens if they just throw it? Well, I suppose if they throw it out, they throw it out. At least we've tried.
Yeah, at least we've tried then. The other thing I was wondering, is there any chance of a grant or something to put it up? If there's anywhere we can claim again for a grant, because, and half the price maybe.
I'm sort of looking at Chris here.
I've got a sort of pipeline of stuff that's going through at the moment, so I don't know how much I have left.
Okay, and what about these, like the 70/30 we got, or we are looking at? Is there any more of those?
I think 70/30.
Yeah.
There's only one. It's because
Plus a potential other one. I don't know that it's big enough for a 70/30 though.
it's just that would help us enormously.
I think that's usually 20,000 plus, isn't it?
That major capital projects, really.
Yeah. But certainly, yes. I mean, we will look elsewhere, but Paul, could we leave it with you to try and chase up
Yep.
those? And,
Do you want me
you
to
know,
also speak to the chair of Community and Social?
yes, I was going to say, if we could also ask you to have that conversation with them, that would be really helpful.
Okay, no problem.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. I think the next one is Ash, isn't it? The next two.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I was just writing. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's all right. I'll pick it up. But Ash, we had conversations about putting some additional protection around the pond, didn't we, at the nature reserve? You're on mute.
Sorry, apologies. There are some bits of timber left over in the pond, but I was wondering how much we had left in the budget for Norton Nature Reserve.
That's a very good point. I think possibly the answer is nothing. Because I don't think we had very much in. There might be some. Paul can tell us.
Yeah, there's 662 left in the budget for this year for Norton Nature Reserve.
Oh, wonderful! Because I was thinking, like, because we've got some timber there, I've got some timber as well. So
Okay.
probably the cheapest way to do it would be a post and rail fence. Put some signage up, just so the public know that there's a body of water there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it costing any more than £150. Because we've already got some, materials already there.
Okay. Can we agree that we ask Ash to go ahead and get that made, and that we have some in the budget to get it done? Okay. So we'll have it. So Ash, if we could say to you, yes, there is money in the budget, and if you could crack on with getting that done, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's not a problem at all.
Okay, and the next one is you as well, which was about raising the raised beds, as it were.
Yeah, so the raised beds that were in Norton have now been pulled up. So it looks a lot tidier there now. I'm planning on moving them totally.
Okay.
Was there a cut-off point where the budget had to be spent on the crop collective?
No, we've spent everything that the grant covered, because we spent all that on the actual purchasing of everything. So going forward, it is purely what we want to put in to carrying it forward.
I thought there was money still left over, because when I spoke to the guys in Cash Hardware, they said that there was a separate account for crop collective, that there was money still available to be spent on that.
Did you know this, Paul?
No, first I've heard of that one.
No,
I can contact them and find out.
Yeah, I can go down there tomorrow and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
And,
Okay, if you're there, Ash, yeah.
yeah, because I went there on Thursday last week, I think, and they asked then which account was it going in, Crop Collective or Mumbles Community Council, and I said, this one's going in Mumbles Community Council, but I can check to see if there was a budget that was, because I remember Rob before he left saying something along the lines of that they put like almost like money behind the bar.
Yeah.
In Cash Hardware, but how much he has spent and how much there is left, I can find out tomorrow. Then I can let Paul know then.
Right.
Yeah, it's important. It's important we spend that money fairly quickly if we can.
Okay. So if we can get that sorted, and I have allocated £500 for next year for the Mumbles Crop Collective, because we'll obviously still need to get some compost and feeds and extra bits. But if we can leave you and Paul to sort that out for now, that we can close that one off as well, Ian.
Oh, good. That's always nice.
Okay. Bee Friendly Streets, we've sorted.
That action has happened, and I have an update on the agenda, so that can be closed.
Yes. And Chris is going to update us on 116, which is the biodiverse schools project. Kerry has completed her action, which is to contact the school, explain that we can't start it until our new EO is in post, so that's sorted as well. Okay.
So shall I close that, Chair?
Yep, so that can be closed. And then those are all done.
As well as 120, Chair.
Yes, yes, Ash, we were wondering about whether there is any requirement for any of the fruit trees in the orchard to be replaced. And if so, we should factor in some costs for that.
I spoke to the guy from Swansea Tree Society last week, John Louis, because I was just asking about sort of potentially getting some more trees and things like that. But they've turned over now. They're not affiliated with Swansea University any longer. They are like a non-profit community organisation now.
Okay.
So we can't get any free trees from them anymore because they charge for them. But I did ask him if he's in the area, would he come up and have a look at the orchard with me, just to give me sort of another point of view on what can be done up there, because there are a lot of trees that are sort of like leaning, quite bad.
Yeah. And I know they're all probably 25 or so years old, and I know with fruit trees they do need to be replaced after a certain amount of time, and I don't know whether 25 years is about the right time or whether they'll keep going for longer.
Yeah, so like he said that he'd message me at some point this week now.
Okay.
And we could have a sort of like a little walk around, and then he can sort of like help advise me then on the best sort of action to take moving forward there.
Okay, and then hopefully we can talk to Coidenvark, Kate from Coidenvark, the tree nursery and Klein Gardens, because I'm sure they might be able to help with some trees as well if we need any replacing.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah, I have spoken to her previously, but she's quite busy, so for her to sort of like come up and have a little look around is more difficult than getting John Louis to come up for free. And
no, that's brilliant. If he'll come up and do that, and then perhaps you could report back to us, and if there is a requirement for some replacement trees, just to an idea of how much that might cost, so that we can make sure we've got them factored in.
I also spoke to one of the lads I know that works on the trees for Swansea Council as well, and he's going to be dropping up some wood chip up there soon for me, so I can redo the paths and mulch around the existing trees and things like that as well. So that should be done in the next fortnight. He did say 2 weeks ago that he was going to do it, but he said if I haven't done it in 2 weeks, remind me, and I reminded him on Friday last week.
Right.
So he said as soon as he's got some in the area, he'll tip it up, so it'll be done probably in the next week or two now.
Okay, that's great. Right, so we can it'll be just report back from Ash when he's had a chance to go around the orchard with the chap from the Tree Society. 121 is in hand.
Yeah, sorry, I'd actually conflated in my mind that one and the one I just said was closed, but I think they are both closed.
They're
related, aren't they?
I mean, I suppose officially it won't be closed until we've actually sent it in on the 12th of December, but...
I mean, the action was to convene a meeting. I have convened the meeting. Yeah, the meeting has happened.
Oh, yes, so it's done, yes.
Great.
Right, and this one really is, nobody's specifically come to me with any training ideas, but I know Sarah is always very keen for us to do SUDS training. But I mean, it's an action that we can kind of keep. We don't need it as an action, but I think it's going to be on the agenda every month anyway, isn't it?
You have to close it, Chair.
So yes, so we can close that. We've put the idea out there, and
good. Thank you.
And continue with regular maintenance of the gardens, well, that's, that will happen. And Ash can update us when we get to that, the end of the meeting. Okay? And Chris is here to update us on the biodiversity crisis.
Yes,
So, well, it's on the agenda, so you can we can pick it up then.
yeah, well, this is just to say that the nature conservation team have confirmed that it's the same products will work in Washing House Brook and Castle as well as.
Oh, right. So we can,
It's
yeah.
basically the advice of my first email, it will fit everything.
We'll fit across the others. Brilliant. Okay. Well, we'll pick that up and say to just note that it's so again, I think we can close that one.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Ooh, we've closed lots today. Very good. Well done. Okay, right. Budget monitoring reports. Has anybody got any comments on our budget so far? I can probably give Ash the answer to the question about Norton Nature Reserve. Oh yes, there's plenty of money. Yeah, 662. So, and that can be quite fluid because we don't actually have an individual budget for the orchard. So if there is any work that's needed in the orchard that you need costs for, then if you bring them to us to the next meeting, we should be able to get that through that budget as well.
Okay.
Okay, because they sort of, work together. Okay, anybody got any other comments on the budget? Civic amenities, as they say, I am waiting on this cost from Pam for the bench to know how much of that budget is going to go on that. Also, I don't know if we can put it onto the next agenda when I've got costs, if people would sort of be open to the idea. Natalie has said that they would really like a notice board up by the car park in Underhill, because that's sort of the key place where people come and there's no information there about anything that's happening. So how would people feel about maybe a suggestion that we put a notice board up there? Sarah?
Yeah, that was actually pointed out by Tyvian when he was looking. He said he didn't even know if the place was open or not.
Right.
It would be ideal if it could be lit up, or at least have shine light if a car goes past it or something as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dark there.
Okay, so shall I look and see if I can get some ideas of costs for a weatherproof notice board to go up by the, I mean, obviously it would benefit us, we could put all our, event posters in it. So it would give people an idea of what's happening. Okay, anything else on the budget? Oh, yes. Repair Cafe. There is a small amount of money each event for coffees. I have suggested that it should come out of climate emergency. Are people happy that we can consider Repair Cafe as part of our climate emergency response? Yeah. So Paul, if so, then that money can come out of that budget.
Yep, no problem.
Lovely, thank you very much. And yeah, that's all there was. Lovely, right. Any comments on, obviously we've just got the expenditure transactions. I don't think there's been any huge amount of recent expenditure. There's nothing you want to draw our attention to, Paul?
No, nothing. I think it's I think expenditure is a little low for this time of year, but
Yeah.
I'm sure things will pick up with the plans that the committee have.
Yeah. Yeah, well, on which note, if I could remind Ashley, you do have your own budget as well for purchasing equipment or supplies or whatever. So don't forget there's that as well. And, it's always good to see it spent.
Yeah, problem is finding a place to put things. It's nice to have shiny toys, but there's not a lot of room in the container. So
No.
you have to be
On that
smart with
note,
choices.
we talked about, this was back when Lydia was here, we talked about shelving.
There's shelving now in there. I've done that. Yeah.
Brilliant. Rebecca.
I'm sorry, I don't know where else in the agenda to ask this question.
No.
So tell me if I should be asking it at a different time. Bulbs. I'm not a gardener, but they have been bought, I understand. And I'm just
They've been bought and planted. Apart from Newton hasn't had any planted yet. I also haven't had any response from any of the councillors in Newton about where they were going to be put. So I did say to people that if I, didn't have any feedback where they wanted them or what they wanted, then I would find a place for them in their ward, and then I'll just let Swansea Council know then what area they are. West Cross have had some planted down by Dick Barton's again. But you've probably still got about 300 or 400 bulbs left to go in.
so that was my question: is what's left, and what's the window for getting them in the ground?
Well, trying to get them in now, but there's only daffodils this year. There's a variety of daffodils, but like they said, they can go in now, really.
Okay, can we?
But you have still got about 300-400 left in for West Cross. So if you've got any other places apart from in sort of like that area by Dick Barton's that you'd like them to go, then feel free to let me know and we can get the others in wherever you'd like.
Lovely, I've got ideas, Ash. We'll be in touch.
Fantastic. And presumably, have all the oyster mouth ones gone down onto the prom?
Yes, they've all gone down. So like where we started last year, it's just continued moving. Do you know where I seen you the other day?
Well, indeed, where we met, yes.
Yeah. So they've gone further down now as well. So it's where they've gone down to where the crossing is on the road.
Lovely, fantastic. Okay, so that's Oystermouth ticked off then, and I know you've done Males as well. That's all ticked off as well.
Yeah, done Males with Helen and some volunteers.
And, so have you had any response at all from Newton councillors?
No response. But like I said, I just
got some ideas.
I'll pick somewhere and let them know.
Right. I could make a small suggestion. I'm not a Newton councillor, and it's not absolutely in Newton, but it's nearly in Newton. Underhill Park, the bottom of Underhill Park, where the traffic lights are by the school.
Yeah.
That bottom end, there's trees there, and it just would be nice to have some daffodils under those trees.
Well, if you'd like, I can send an email, like a group email to the Newton councillors.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I haven't had a response from you. If you're happy to, are you okay for me to plant them there? And if I don't hear anything, I guess that's
just crack on and do it.
Yeah. And my geography's not very good either, so if we said it's close, then it's fine.
Lovely. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. Okay, so can we approve the budget expenditure income and budget monitoring? Yep, thank you very much. Right, I will pass over to you then, Rebecca, for landfill tax grant application.
Okay, so we had a really, really constructive meeting of those who expressed interest in being part of developing this proposal, which was Carrie, myself, Sarah, Ed and Helen. We talked about some of the things that we would like to be able to do, which very much kind of build from Bee Friendly Streets, but also consider the feedback that we've got from residents around issues to do with waste, because it being the landfill tax, that's obviously really relevant. So there's 3 objectives in the funding. The ones that are most relevant to us, I think, are biodiversity. So enhancing biodiversity is one, and then improving the environment for the community. So just making green space more accessible, or looking at ways in which kind of our built environment can be, can promote our well-being. It can just feel like a lovely place to live. So the proposal that we've got is a project called Mumbles Pup, which stands for Pride in Our Place. Building from the work that myself, Sarah and Chris have done as the city councillors to look at additional resource to look at manual weeding, we would like to include in our proposal some funding to even go a bit further than that. So just we recognise that that adds real value to the area, is having that resource to be able to undertake weeding, to be able to undertake kind of basic maintenance of green space. We talked about on the biodiversity side, low maintenance planting, but specifically looking at areas that are perhaps slightly more unexpected or off the beaten track. So historically, the community council has really invested in the prom. It's invested on, arterial routes, or like areas of high footfall. And actually, what we're seeing is that in places like the Borsfit Estate, for example, some planting there and some environmental enhancements there would be of real benefit to the people who are living there. And actually would be quite transformative, because it's not somewhere that there's been that kind of activity before. We very much want to do this, as with everything that we do in this committee, want to do this in partnership with the community. So working with volunteers, recognising that we've got the 2 posts out to advert or just closed. So both the environmental officer and the volunteer officer. And we feel that we talked about where is there most sort of energy around this, and actually, the youth club have just did their tidy session over the summer. Really successful litter picking with the Warm Hub, like loads of families coming down, and then also the schools being involved in quite a few of our environmental projects. So we just thought something around young people and families, and volunteer engagement through those routes would probably be kind of where we would want to focus. And then the other 2 things that we talked about was, so on the waste side, particularly in West Cross, there is an issue with fly tipping. We've got Fairwood Road has become a bit of a fly tipping corridor, to be honest. And we talked about this funding perhaps helping us to have some sort of creative deterrent campaign. So again, co-producing that with the community, so through the youth club, through Warm Hub, and having, with Swansea Council permission, having something that just sort of like acts as a bit of a deterrent to support the enforcement work that the council undertakes. And then just finally, we talked about the value of street art, and like the electric boxes go down really well and really do brighten up an area. And in terms of just in the environmental enhancements, that's a real asset. So those were all of our ideas. I have to caveat all of this by saying that, as with previous items on tonight's agenda, there's a lot of permissions needed there. So we would need to engage with Swansea Council, both parks and housing departments, to get their permissions to be able to undertake any of this. But that's where we've got to. We think we have the kind of outline there of a year-long project. So we can apply for up to 2 years, but there is a cap of how much money you can apply for, and we think we're better off applying for 1 year, maybe 18 months if we can stretch it out that far, but do a year really well, and go from there, really. I think that's all I need to say at this point.
Yes. So how does this, because obviously you put in the budget proposal form. So that money that we put into that would all be in support of.
Right. So no.
This would be in addition to,
It would be instead of. So
instead of.
if I describe it as, assuming that committee supports all of those activities that I've just outlined,
Mhm.
in the event that we apply for the grant and we're unsuccessful, the budget proposal is intended to enable us to be able to deliver as much of that as possible, even without the grant. The grant does give you the opportunity to highlight where you've got match funding, and we have got some match funding in that. City councillors are already in train looking at the additional capacity on the weeding, as I've mentioned, and that would very much tie in with this project. And then also we've got the wildflower planting, we've got some planting budget in for next year. So that would
Yeah, the £1,000, hopefully. will
Yes,
be retained.
yes. And I was intending to see, particularly whether, being a West Cross councillor, whether any of the West Cross councillors wanted to put a little bit of their local budget into the planting side of things. So in an ideal world, the budget proposal that I've put in, I would be able to reduce to zero, because I would have the grant
Right,
and the match funding, and that would deliver all of those objectives that I've just talked about.
fantastic.
Now, obviously, I can't tell you whether that's going to happen. And
Paul has his hand up at that point.
When will you know by, Rebecca?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the issue I've got. I don't think we're going to know by the time we have to set budget.
Okay.
So this brings me on to my suggestion for committee, which is so you have to remember that when I put in the budget proposal last month, it was before the group had met to even talk about the grant. We've talked about the grant now. In particular, we recognise that the additional capacity to do cleansing, weeding, maintenance in the wards is like top priority.
Yeah.
That we're not going to cover that in £5,500, speaking frankly.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do is propose that we increase the amount in the budget proposal to £21,000.
It's a small leap forward.
Which I appreciate is quite a large difference. That is what I think is required, with a little bit of negotiation, with some contribution from city councillors. I'm looking, there's 3 of them around the table. But that's the minimum that I think is required to be able to deliver everything I've just outlined. So the fly tipping, the volunteer work,
So it's very much a contingency if we're unsuccessful with the grant application.
And I'm also putting that figure forward at this stage, recognising that there is the informal budget meeting in December, at which I fully anticipate there'll be questions about this.
Indeed.
And then there's the annual negotiation of, everything getting sliced up anyway.
Yes.
So should then that figure not be the final figure, which I'm sure it won't be, then we would need to cut our cloth and we would need to look at those things that I've just outlined and say, right, well, which are the priorities? And we would be able to use the community consultation to inform that, because we don't have that information at this stage.
True.
So that is my suggestion at this point, that A, committee endorse and support the application to the landfill tax grant based on the outline I've just given, and B, that we increase the budget proposal as a backup plan.
Okay, I mean, it is quite a leap forward in our budget. Obviously it would put another £15,000 into the budget, which is sort of significant in comparison to previous years. But we have no other big project on the books at the moment for this year, in the way that we've had the Castlewood paths previously and various other things. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy for this to go forward at that amount, on the basis that it is something that's going to have a benefit right across the MCC area, and it is going to very, very much address residents' concerns, and that should be one of the most important things that the community council responds to. So are we happy to agree that Rebecca can go ahead and revise the budget proposal form to 21,000? Yes, oh, you're saying yes. Or do you want to say something, Sarah?
No, it's fine. I think if we had to scratch anything, it would be the wildflower planting, because frankly, as Tyvian said before, cut the grass at the right time and the wildflowers will come by themselves. So there we go.
Well, I think, yeah, look at probably bulb stroke wildflower, but we can always focus more on bulbs. Okay, so can we ask you to rewrite the budget proposal form? Paul, when should this upward revision be into you?
The meeting is on the Wednesday after December Council, so I'll be publishing the proposals probably the week before that.
Which is next week.
Yeah, very early in December, please, Rebecca.
Happy days, yeah.
Okay, right, lovely, thank you. So we'll move forward with that. The second one, which also has an impact on the budget, is just when you think everything's sorted with Castlewoods Paths, they've come back with a couple more requirements. First of all, they're asking for an additional £5,000 contingency. Now, there is a suggestion that there may be some potential for city councillors and possibly community councillors to contribute towards that on the basis that it may not be needed and therefore they can, you know, actually have that money elsewhere. And the second thing is, and I don't know whether Ash might be able to kind of give a bit of advice, is on, they've asked for a maintenance plan. Now, my view is the paths at the moment have survived for 25 years with probably minimal to zero maintenance, and which is why they're in the state they're in. But I mean, what sort of things would we need to do to maintain those paths, Ash?
Are these the paths that were meant to be going in Castlelake Woods by North Nature Reserve?
Yeah.
Well, it depends what materials are being used, I guess.
I mean, I suppose my thinking was really the only thing that would be cutting back, you know, kind of if encroaching undergrowth.
Yeah,
You know,
I guess.
yeah.
Like, is it going to be a permeable surface? Is it?
It will be permeable, yes. It's probably going to be those, like the chippings that are then sort of beaten down into a sort of firm surface, but one which is porous. And there will be some sections where there'll be, what are they called? Duck boards? No, not, are they duck boards? Basically where, you know, they will be sort of like where there's real bad problems with constant water collection. There'll be like little boards going across that the water would then be able to flow under, and people would be able to still walk across them. So, I mean, how often would you need to kind of cut back sort of undergrowth to make sure that the paths are kept reasonably clear? You're on mute.
Sorry, I know it's nothing to do with Mumbles Council, because I've said I talked to my mate in the
No, it's not theoretically, but because we're putting money in, I think they're sort of suggesting we might want to contribute towards the maintenance as well.
Well, it said if that's the case, it needs to be passed by Kerry and stuff like that, doesn't it? Because then it becomes more work that I do and things. But I sort of like leaf blow there now anyway, and I've cut back several times. I've seen the Swansea Council boys in there once this year, and they were marking trees for like disease or felling. They don't do anything in there. There's like steps going up towards the castle from Norton, and they need to be, Yeah,
we've agreed for the moment that we're not going to use them, and we're improving the sloping path that brings you to the same place.
Along by the houses?
No, if you go from Norton Nature Reserve, where the steps are, if you carry on along that path past the steps, you'll see the path then rises up
Yeah.
and comes and meets up with the path that leads then into Castle Field. So that's much better because it's, you know, buggy friendly or whatever, mobility friendly, because it doesn't involve steps. So we're improving that path, and we're not going to do anything at the present time with the steps.
Okay. And who is there anyone like booked in to do the actual work?
Well, there will be, Swansea Council will be doing it, one assumes,
Okay.
or will subcontract. But I really just want to put in a maintenance plan that says really there will be minimal. Rebecca.
Sorry, can we take a step back here? This is the Community Investment Fund application.
Thank you, yes.
Right, so this is the responsibility of Councillor Thomas. Okay?
Right.
Chris will have had to put in his application. Sarah and I have had to do a lot of work on our application. If they're asking for a maintenance plan,
He should do it.
he needs to say why it needs or doesn't need to be one. Sarah and I have adequately responded to this question on the Washing House Brook project. We have not had any subsequent follow-up. If there is any cost implication, then frankly, Councillor Thomas should be grateful that he's had MCC funding into the project application in the first place. He needs to be looking at his community budget, and it needs to be, you know, that needs to be properly scrutinised before we're talking about spending any more money from MCC. That is my view.
Perfectly. That's absolutely fine. I can take that back. What about potentially £5,000 contingency?
So it has the feedback been that that's the total that is missing that to make it up?
Apparently. Because we had already, well, I thought he had already put in £5,000 contingency, but it maybe would appear not. Sarah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, well, maybe we should throw in some as well, because after all, we'll need to keep that our hedge and the path clear as well. I mean, it gets silly, doesn't it? Where do you draw the line?
I know. I mean, I think the issue is that unless we put, you know, this money comes from somewhere, you know, the project is going nowhere. And obviously it is significantly less than we're spending on Washing House Brook.
I think, because the issue we've got with all of these, I know the Bowles Green application is the same, is that it's always contingency, but there's no agreement for what happens if it's not spent.
Right. Well, presumably if it's our money, we just don't hand it over. Well, Paul is nodding there. We would assume that we don't actually have to give them the money up front. But perhaps an action, Ian, is that if we could clarify with Councillor Thomas that the match funding that we are putting in will only be requested as it has been spent. We're not being expected to give it to them up front.
Yeah, I don't want to, sorry, I appreciate my comments were strong there. I don't want to see the project not happen. I obviously do want to see the project happen. I just think we need to be mindful that I know that MCC is contributing more to the Washing House Brook, but the community budget contribution from myself and Sarah vastly outweighs what is coming from Councillor Thomas. So like, let's just make sure that we are balancing it on all sides. But I don't want to see it not happen.
Right, what I was going to suggest, Paul, is that we put this to full council in December and ask whether if it's needed, it would be acceptable for it to come out of contingency on the basis that we sincerely hope it won't actually be needed.
It certainly makes sense that we cover it from the council's contingency budget rather than sort of increasing the committee's budget and potentially unnecessarily.
Okay, so as long as we can put that request in and assuming it's approved, that can be minuted, then that will, I understand, satisfy the requirements. So if we can agree that we will do that, So if we.
It's a recommendation, Chair.
Recommendation to full council, yes, please. Okay, right, so on that basis, otherwise, has everybody had a chance to look at our final budget? I have a copy here. And everyone's happy with it, nothing more? Paul, I think you said you were happy with what we put in?
Yeah, I've amended the figure for Pride in Our Place. So I amended that to 21,000 now.
Right, lovely.
So if everything else is agreed,
Yeah.
then the other thing I've done is I've amended the bulbs and wildflower planting and the civic amenities budget proposals to just show the increase rather than the total budget. Because the original budget is in the budget already, so it's only the increase that we're looking for. So it's an extra 2,500 for civic amenities and 2,000 for bulbs and wildflower planting.
Okay, that's great. Fantastic, thanks very much. So we can, on the basis of the additional money which you've already factored in, we can sign that budget off as the one that will go forward to the meeting in December?
Well, no, it'll go to the January meeting. The budget
right.
setting meeting towards the end of January. So the figure now is 48,400. So we just need committee to agree that that is the figure that is going to be recommended to council, and then Ian committed that as well.
Right, that's that taken. Okay, training plan. Has anybody come up with any thoughts? I know Sarah is very keen for us to do SADs. Oh, she's got to go.
Sorry, Carrie, I gotta get Mary's food out the oven.
All right, are you coming back? Because we won't be quorum with you gone.
Oh, okay. Sam?
No, there's not a huge amount. Well, yeah. How long will it take you? Shall we just hold for 2 minutes?
Well, we were all going to eat, but it's okay.
Oh, I see, sorry, right. Well, that's okay. We can always just informally, for information, continue the rest of the meeting. Because there'll be no decision making, all right?
Shall I stop the recording,
Yes.
Chair?
Yes, so if that's the meeting, then we'll formally close, but we will continue just for information.
Sorry about this.
It's coming up with the wrong bits, isn't it? There we go. Doesn't want to do it, does it? Okay.